Am I the asshole for calling out my husband's brother in front of everyone? My husband's brother has a lot of issues, and I tolerate him only because I have to. He constantly degrades women and brags about riling people up online every time you see him. Sounds like a real winner, baby. Woo! All right. I don't know. I got really excited there. This guy sounds cool, actually. Riling up people online, you know, and being a little misogynistic on the side. Oh, this has got to be a cool guy, statistically. He has a huge beer belly, long stringy hair, one black scraggly tooth, and reeks of smoke and BO from chain smoking. He lives in a small RV on disability, drives junk vehicles people give him, and still sponges off his parents and grown children. Yeah. Hey, what can I say? You know, sometimes you see what new thing people are freaking out about. Like, people are freaking out about the trailer in The Witcher 4. These women, they don't look the way I need them to look. And when I was going through and I was looking at the profile pictures of the men that did show their faces, they all did look a certain way. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. But I'm also not like, a negative 5 out of 10, missing all of my teeth, talking about how I hate the way these ugly women look in my damn video games. I'm just not doing that. Because it's a video game. Like, who gives a shit? I don't know. I just find it funny. He's always telling us women are hitting on him, and by hitting on him, he means they're just being polite. We usually roll our eyes at his delusions. Hey, we all have one of those friends, you know? That one friend who's like, socially, he's very talkative, so he talks to a lot of women. And he thinks that because he's talking, like communicating with these women, he's good with women. But the reality is, they're just being nice and talking back to him when he talks to them. And he just thinks it's like he just thinks shit's just working out for him. Meanwhile, he hasn't been on a date in a decade. Recently, a female family friend picked him up to bring him to our house since his vehicle wouldn't make it. He later claimed she was hitting on him. Jesus. Which absolutely did not happen. My husband and I laughed it off, but agreed his lies could cause problems. I told my husband it wasn't fair for him to spread rumors about her, but he didn't know how to handle it and hoped his brother would move on. Right. Later, at my in-laws, he repeated the story about the woman hitting on him. I suspect even the in-laws knew he was lying, but didn't say anything. See, you got to have someone in the family that does some course correction. We definitely have no shortage of people in my family who, you show up to the family event and you're yapping off, somebody's going to course correct. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? You know, you're going to get what are you even saying? What do you mean? She was hitting on you. Right. It got me thinking. Earlier in the week, I had texted him about some estate paperwork my husband needed to sign. While there was nothing inappropriate, I suddenly wondered if he would spread rumors about me too. Probably. When he started bragging again about the woman hitting on him, I lost it. I told him in front of my husband and in-laws that there was no way she hit on him, that he's delusional, and that I'd let her know what he said so she could stay away from him. Everyone went silent until my mother-in-law broke the tension by mentioning dessert. Shout out to the mother-in-law. His brother got pie and then launched into a rant about how women shouldn't be CEOs or presidents. Sounds like a real winner. You know? It's always exactly who you expect. Sometimes it's just always exactly who you expect. Huge beer belly, long stringy hair, one black scraggly tooth, reeks of smoke and BO from chain smoking, lives in an RV on disability, drives junk vehicles, sponges off his parents. That's the guy who's like, I couldn't imagine a woman CEO. My guy, I couldn't imagine you managing a McDonald's. You know what I mean? Much less being behind the grill, because it sounds scary enough. I don't know. We left soon afterwards, and I apologized to my husband for my outburst. I explained I was tired of his brother's crap and didn't want him spreading lies about me either. My husband wasn't mad, but said he feels sorry for his brother, thinking he's mentally disabled and more like a teenage boy than a grown man. I mean, I don't think you're the asshole here. Is he actually mentally disabled? I once watched a reality movie called Windy City Heat, in which they found the most arrogant jerk you can imagine, convinced him that he was starring in a major motion picture and filmed a behind-the-scenes documentary about its production. The film was basically a series of pranks that could only be pulled off on someone who was delusional enough to buy into their own hype. I thought it was hilarious watching this jerk get his comeuppance time and time again until I saw a forum post about the movie from one of his high school classmates. Apparently, he was a popular, likable guy in high school, until he had a skateboarding accident in which he hit his head, entered a coma, and suffered brain damage. After that, he behaved like the delusional, arrogant bigot that was the film's object of mockery. I felt kind of icky about the idea of making fun of him after that. Relatively, I will say this. I am in I won't even go into it. I won't say anything. No one knows for sure, but you do get the impression after meeting him that there's something wrong. He never had an accident or something you could pinpoint and say he was fine until this time. Whether or not he definitely needed a dose of reality. Yeah, I was about to say, thank God, somebody's about to say it's a thin fine line. At what point do we tell the person that's being an asshole, even though they might have some type of mental disorder, that they're being an asshole? You know what I mean? Do we just kind of let it slide? Like, yeah, he's doing what can he vote? I don't know. Not the asshole, but kind of the asshole. Reread your description of him. His words and actions and whole self speak for themselves. He's not doing any harm, it sounds like. He's telling stories that have no impact on anything. Apologize to the brother for the what? I'm sorry. What are you talking about? He's telling stories that have no impact on anything? I don't know, man. He's going around saying that women are hitting on him constantly. It's probably going to cause some shit. Probably spreading all kinds of weird shit. Who cares if he says someone's hitting on him? You're making a mountain out of a molehill? No, these dudes, I'm so tired of this shit, man. At a certain point, you have to say, at some point, you have to say something to these types of dudes, because these types of dudes get all hyped up by their bros that let them continue to say this shit. And then they hop online and they complain about women CEOs, women doing anything ever. And they bitch and they whine and they complain and they continue to get, at some point, they need to be reminded that they're not shit. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of these low T fucking soy boys. What is with these low T, no teeth having? I'm tired of it. I wouldn't just say you're the asshole, but sometimes people are so ridiculous that there's a shared unspoken understanding amongst everyone in the room that nobody takes them seriously. In those situations, it's important to not let them get to you, or you stand the risk of becoming the second most ridiculous person in the room for engaging in confrontation with them. That is an interesting outlook on it. I wouldn't say I 100% agree with this, but that is kind of like an unspoken thing. That is like, if I'm going to, there's plenty of people that I've met that I've just completely disengaged with, because I've realized, no matter what, when I talk to you, you're going to be ridiculous. And I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to, we're not going to be close friends, but, I'll keep it cordial. But for the most part, nah. Guessing his family has known about his behavior long before he came into the picture seems the only thing, or the only one that really needed the scene was you, as it's not going to change the brother or how he acts. Do you feel better? You got it off your chest. Soft, you are the asshole. I don't understand. Probably just fed up with his behavior, but maybe calling him out in front of everyone wasn't the best way to handle it. It might have been better to pull him aside privately. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, a man who constantly talks shit about women in general is totally going to listen to what she says with an open mind. Someone had to put him in his place. Seizures aren't always obvious, and neither are what? Don't know why you give any weight to what he says no one else does. But that's just because that nobody fucking you say that, and then all of a sudden we have a dude with a podcast where he's just yapping off complaining about women or some shit. If you would have told me 10 years ago that there would be podcasts that solely exist to just yap and whine about women or men, really, there's podcasts that women run where all they do is yap and whine and complain about men, I would have said, no way. There's no one pathetic enough to listen to that all day. And I would have been wrong, because it's very popular. Podcast where one gender complains about the other gender, usually straight people. I don't know if there's a lot of gay dudes making podcasts complaining about other gay men. It mainly seems like it's men complaining about women and women complaining about men. People will just listen to that because they have their men or women issues, and they just want some sort of reinforced, beliefs. They want their beliefs reinforced, is what I meant to say. So I don't know. I just don't like these types of dudes. I don't know, man. They always try to make friends with me too, because it's I have a wife and shit, and my wife is really cool, and we're just kind of we're very, I don't know, we're very unfiltered with each other, and I think they kind of see that as it's gonna be a cool he's gonna understand that I can sit here and talk shit about his wife or something, or women in general, and it's no, my wife is fucking cool. I don't You sit here and you're complaining about all kinds of bullshit. You don't say shit about my wife, because my wife is on a different level than any of these fake women you've made up in your head, you know, with these dudes that think like 90% of women have an OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Their main interaction is just like Twitter reply bots, you know? You don't say shit about my wife. It just doesn't work out that way. But, you know, maybe I'm too personally invested because I've met like this type of dude before. And so I'm like, I'm good. I'm good on you being around. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.